Welcome to our lovely future humans. There are 5D Collective. To those who enjoy feeling good. And can you spot your 3-year-old is the first question, because otherwise you don't want to be here. Personal growth involves, and spiritual ascension, that which is called self-sovereignty, relational sovereignty, FYI, nervous system sovereignty. Now we all know words, but it's not just words. So I get to fill in the gap for those who want, of course, to know how easy it is to be yourself. And that's why authentic people, it always feels good to be around them, because we are somatic drivers and mental drivers. So true transformation and true leadership, it happens from the state of you meets the strategy of you, and the strategy of you meets the state of you. It does come up, it doesn't get shoved back down and sideways. So up and down a merry-go-round, we know how to do the inner growth mindset. And with anyone who's new, we now have added to our personal growth practices in spiritual ascension the lovely IHP community building practice that my life partner has given us the honor to use. There's 6 phases. We've talked about it, but right now what I want to talk about is how do we ground self-leadership into real-time capacity, and by giving you some stories, but also by talking to you about the core pillars covered in the Substack and LinkedIn article. It's a abbreviated version of the lengthy article on what is a somatic mindset micro-habit and how to scale it to your capacity. So number 1, again, transformation happens because you have capacity, which means that you spot your 3-year-old. So how do you move from irritated to regulated? Because come on, we all have the us and the them. I'm just saying, there's a 9 to 14-month-old in every one of us, and luckily though, we're the 4-year-olds who pass the test, so we are not in the curse of knowledge. There's a couple of studies I've reviewed with my regulars. Okay, so core pillar number 1, the architecture of dual track and capacity. We are able to hold our internal somatic awareness. So when I get activated, whether it's an earthquake or because my 3-year-old comes up, because she's still participating to that which are me dynamics. Okay, so we will have a me and a we, and Dr. Daniel Siegel calls it a we. And your immediate 5 alloparenting individuals will be your 0 to 8-year-old or your 0 to 11-year-old. I'm attachment trauma educated. So with that being said, people who are able to be themselves are the most fun to be around, because they see us and we see them. They soothe, we soothe, safe, secure, and that's the part. We don't cut anyone out. And there's no monsters except for the ones who are family in the head of people who don't want to become self-regulating autonomously. They didn't choose to not know how to do it. So please, let's remember, the ones who do not hold somatic awareness is because they do not even hold mental awareness. They are being led officially, and it does become a pathological wheelhouse because the dark sides of neuroplasticity, but wait for it, because God doesn't want any of his children to be alone. So like the flat earthers, they have a group, and then they have more groups, and then those groups create more groups, and as they isolate and say we're better than you, they actually become convinced with their curse of knowledge that they can predict the future. And then the ones of us who can predict the future know how to handle this. And which came first, the chicken or the egg? I'm kidding, meaning that yes, we do see choice points. I have downloads, and some will not like the word, and I will think, wow, that's an area where you can grow. I'm still growing my 3-year-old too though. So okay, when you are doing the scaling in real time, that's what the micro habits help you to do, because you want to scale and notice yourself, the somatic stuff, and you're doing mental focus. So it's easy for you to grab your left and your right and to have a cognitive strategy called the inner growth mindset. So you get to be authentically yourself. You master what I call Kali down here, the anger and the irritable 3-year-old. You bring in Shiva, it's sadness, nothingness. This is the moment of truth when we get rejected. We're just not thinking of it as protection. Every embodied brain actively will have the same way to respond physically. So once you get the explanation, the left loves explanation. Did I mention the book, The Left Brain Speaks, The Right Brain Laughs, of Ransom Stevens, PhD? It's a good one if you want to learn from a neuroscientist about the brain. It's I'm not my indulging parent though, because he says how we can be our indulgent parent in the right, and I'm like, no, I can be a judgmental ass, so I'm still working on it. And the left is actually the delusional idiot or the fascinated child. I'm the fascinated child. So, okay, so when you are holding your somatic awareness and you therefore actively are able to direct your mind to be like, oh, I'm activated. That's right. Oh, I'm irritated. Or, oh shit, yes, the earthquake. I need level 2 subsomatic micro-habit right now. And that's basically, I just noticed my body. The earthquake you notice first. Then the body's like, oh yeah, my hips are getting stiff. I am actively activated. And then I open the door. You can tune into that episode. But that's just one example of how you maintain empowered composure. And people think that it means you're calm. But no, I'm not calm. I'm just composed. It's called self-regulating with awareness. Oh, and capacity though. Okay, so this is the reason I said transformation happens when state meets strategy and strategy meets state, because it's a body and a mind and a mind and a body, and it's really an embodied brain. But your mind does have, what was it, Dr. Dan? He talks about our mind having its own, I believe it's called the state of sense of being. I have notes all over the place because I love to give you information. Here we go. So yeah, mine has its own felt sense of being in existence. And I know mine likes to speak up. And sometimes it talks about bullshit, but it's okay because it's my bullshit. And the brain is an anticipation machine, while the mind is a pattern recognizer, which is why we all can predict things, but complex systems don't have formulas, which is why you don't tell a person that you're going to heal them. I actively don't need you to heal them, but somatic empaths we are. So when I do see another and I soothe and safe and secure them and I embrace them and they can be themselves, that's me being a healer. The thing is, you don't heal people who don't want to own their 3-year-old, and so that's why it's a lie. But what I can say is Jesus gave me the trick. It's the key to the heart. You're the key to your own heart, and I'm meant to forgive you even if you cross paths with me and, break my heart. So 3 levels of compassion, spiritual ones. Level 1, Dalai Lama mentions mother, Dr. Daniel Siegel mentions secure attachment. Level 2, love thy enemy. Dr. Daniel Siegel, I don't remember if he comments on that, but it's basically we embody we love our enemies because there's no enemies. We're all humans. I have level 3 compassion, unconditionally love yourself and others with flaws and imperfections. Please do remember, not all of human beings want to regulate. So when people say they don't believe in the spirit stuff, fine. Go buy Restored Embodiment and Resilience by Alan Fogel and learn how to be silent inside. Once you are silent inside, then you're going to know why it feels good to feel good, and I'm not watching my back because nothing bad's going to happen, because I don't use imagination in the way that the fantasy stages people do. And when I get a download and I get messages, I know exactly what's happening. I'm a clear channel, and I'm a clear mirror. And it's not Snow White's mother, mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me who's the fairest of them all. That's a lot of people with insecurities. So scaling to real-time capacity. Why micro-habits allow you to adjust practices to meet your current state without breaking momentum. When I do see, for example, the lady with her little one finger saying she's going to dismantle modern-day therapists, she came to my mind when I looked at the mirror, mirror on the wall. Tell me, who's the fairest of them all? Because she looks fabulous in her suits, and she loves to be adored by those who adore her. And I actually have a problem because I keep making fun of people who I need to stop making fun of, since they did not choose to be drama kings, queens, or in pseudo-liveness, or to follow people around that apparently are considered charming. By who? Women who laugh at a woman who says, women, remember, after they fuck you, don't think it. What? Wedding bells. I'm like, no. The ignorant boys and girls when I was a teenager said, now you're trash. And the ignorant boys and girls that are now grown up still use the same word. And I find it hilarious that they want to look at me and think that they know what they're talking about. So when people express their opinions, it's one thing that you can say, I have a way of feeling about the polyamory and monoamory community, and it's another where you are in a sympathetic energy with the curse of knowledge of a 3-year-old who doesn't have the capacity to be self-aware because you're lacking somatic awareness. And so when someone is in their exact effective realism distortion, where strong emotions feel like irrefutable facts, they go on screen and do this. I want to, but it is right, not what feels right. If only you understood subjective reality. And if only you understood we have 8 billion children out there, and of which a certain number are emotionally mature, like this one in front of you, who's also aware I got a 3-year-old and I really don't like the ones who are not out to play with us. Is, oh, it's not the 3-year-old or the terrible 2s that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with their... I'm going to leave that one alone because I don't want to go there today. Embodied sovereignty, grounding conscious leadership, emotional intelligence, and self-regulation into daily habits that actually stick. So it's number 1, you have the state to apply the strategy. And that's why being authentically you means you welcome differences. It also means you can humor yourself and humor others. And here's what sages are: expert yogis, enlightened ones, intelligent sentient beings, emotionally mature, mentally mature, sovereign. And that's where, again, you're always going to have a 3-year-old. So your first 5 alloparenting are the most important. They will continue for the rest of your life, I'm 46, to interact with you. And when that happens, if you're a person of your word, you do what you do best. I can learn how to, my sensations, images, behaviors, affects, meanings, to grow myself because I am my 1-year-old, my 2, my 3. I'm my grown-up version, and that's your prefrontal cortex. Okay, so it's not a pity party and it's not a tit for tat. We all can, though, get irritated. So what happens when you get irritated? You choose, it's okay for me to be irritated by, for example, a guy who goes and says wellness is a scribbly board. Are you saying that you still have a hard time with sadness, anger, irritation, I don't know, all the emotions? Is this it? Or are you saying you're irritated with politics? What's the scribbling for? I'd love to understand why you said wellness is scribbling. Oh, that's right, you're irritated with the wellness people like myself who talk to you about using Somatic-Mindset Micro-Habit practices to grow yourself. Where are my manners? So the part about someone scribbling just tells me they're very irritated and that they don't want to do more emotional maturing work. They don't have to. Their state is, I choose sympathetic energy, which makes them unhealthy, self-righteous, makes them terrible, makes them a person who has the curse of knowledge. That's why we have flat earthers. So when you meet dysregulated, insecure people, they might not be dysregulated consistently, but basically when they choose to allow their own effective realism distortions to be what's true, the only ones who are falling around a mirror on the wall, tell me who's the fairest of the all, are the ones who want to be a part of a group. And you know who doesn't want to be a part of that group? Right here. Yeah, you better bet I have no interest in people who do not know, 1, how to use Somatic-Mindset Micro-Habit practices, who do not know how to scale their own capacity, and who do not notice themselves as I don't know everything. But what I do know is that children are not terrible. They're not spiteful. They are children. And when you do a 3rd attunement and repairing rupture, you will help them to grow capable with that which is their embodied brain. And those who don't believe in trauma-informed shit, they can go screw themselves, is how I can bring it to you. But what I'm trying to say is, I find it hard to believe. And first, he's like, that's a person who is now not only ignoring the hugest red flag of them all, you're saying science is not true, and you know where you come from, and you know why. You might want to rethink what you just spoke and hear again the explanations of the smart trauma-informed therapist of how shame responds to getting healed. So you don't actually shame a person into evolving or into becoming themselves, and that's why I actually am irritated by a bunch of people who aren't doing anything that the word leader to me means something. And it's not true if you don't know how to spot your own somatic activated state, and that means your own body. And if you can't actually notice your thoughts, and if you can't wield your thoughts or your activated state, well then I don't even know why you chose. I do know. So the part about what I do know is that we didn't have all these pieces of information, which is why our spiritual ancestors, they did the same thing they're still doing now. They're not ancestors anymore. It's also why you respect your household, you respect your ancestors. Respect is a word that is used for those who understand, humanly speaking, we are born, and we were born ignorant. We did come from caves. So if you're grounded in reality and spiritual, you'll understand you don't deny science, and science doesn't disprove God. Those who instead choose they like their story, choose they're going to put their pitchforks down, choose to be the ignorant ones who, with their unhealthy self-righteousness and with their epistemically lazy asses, by the way, continue to do what they do best. Yeah, you continue. I know who wins, and it's not the ones who don't have real-time capacity because they're blinded by their own egos and their own stories. And so the people who are Schopenhauer, the quote, if you want to appeal to a large audience, you appeal to the masses. I'm appealing to the large masses of infinite higher human conscious potential beings because I serve, support, equip, work with authentic people. When you're authentically you, you're comfortable to be around because you're not a jackass. And even when I get judgmental as an asshole, I will say, sorry, mayor my manners. Sometimes I get really irritated. What can I do? Oh, I'm working on it with the same Somatic-Mindset Micro-Habit practices and frameworks that I offer my community, because otherwise, why do you think I make them? No, meaning that, of course, I'm going to know how to apply them. And what I'm trying to talk about. And so the IHP community building practice, for example, that my lovely life partner brought to us, we have something that I'm going to bring to you at a certain point, but this makes everything we do tangible because it will bring your personal growth efforts to the next level, which is I get to, with another human being who's healthy like I am, make a difference, and you're going to do it. Why? Why would you not do it? Why would you not bring forth humanity's higher potential when you understand the capacity of wielding your nervous system and of having self-relational and nervous system sovereignty, which is why you're not afraid of somatic countertransference. You understand that our nervous systems speak to each other, so you know how to differentiate and link because you have no core wounds bleeding, because you have no child parts still upset in a way where you will need the therapeutic container, not personal growth, not spiritual ascension or growth. There's a difference. And so the bypassing community, they're bountiful and they will continue to do what they do best, ignore what comes out of their mouth and ignore the savior complexes that they have, or the victimhood complexes that they have, or the hero complexes that they have. And they're all people who will come together and pow, wow, wow, and they continue, like the flat earthers, to have fun together, which is why they represent no threat whatsoever. They represent something very simple, a bunch of people who want to belong, they motivate each other to belong, and then I do know that probably there's a good portion of them that know how to do the restored embodiment dance. That's it. So the part, though, that they don't notice is how they don't have the capacity to wield conversations with those who are different than them and have a good time, and actually to continue to leave a legacy behind for our children to learn all stories come from somewhere. All people come from somewhere. You know, humanity doesn't know everything, children. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. That's actually a fact. I mean, seriously, why are you so scared of the chicken or the egg riddle? So human secondary consciousness. When a person is not capable of understanding that we don't know everything in a way of being at ease inside, they are uncomfortable with the unknown, which means they're uncomfortable using their right, because the right is comfortable with the unknown. And if you're bilaterally, vertically, overall integrated, then you're going to be comfortable with anything that comes out of the mouth of anyone. And if not, you're going to spot yourself. Oh, I got my 3-year-old in the room. Shit, what's up? Ah, that's right. Yeah. So my anticipation machine is my brain. My pattern recognizer is my mind, and the mind has its actual own felt sense of being in existence, and it's not an enemy. So when you're your own self, as Louis Pasteur mentions, chance favors the prepared mind, and as lovely John O'Donohue, mystic, someone who believes in the reality of the invisible. Scientists also look into that which is invisible. And so when we're grounded in reality, we will know, there's another quote I want to read to you, that our beliefs, even our most cherishable opinions and beliefs, can be erroneous. If you don't have that capacity in your left and your right, and you're convinced with all your might, that's not confidence. Confidence means I will know 99.999%, but I will know that for all I know, tomorrow there's an innovator, because that's how our species has consistently shown us that it can advance. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not a competition. unless you're insecure. So insecure egos, which are all the masculines, might I add, it's not gender, it's actively half a brain, and then they go and with Hansel and Gretel, they build a lovely breadcrumb trails because complex systems don't have formulas and scared children want safety blankets. So when someone doesn't understand how their embodied brain works, they say your brain can fall out of your ass. And when you know the consilience approach and how your embodied brain works, you're like, no, actually it's impossible, as it's a skull. And I know how to assimilate information, the 4 facets of the mind. Where are you, Dr. Dan? Subjective experience, self-organization, information processing, consciousness. You're able to sift sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. So when your mind is yours, you wield it. When your self is yours, you wield it. When you are authentically you, you let others be authentically them. You don't care what words come out of their mouth, and if you're triggered, you spot yourself, which is why the 5 to 60 second level 2 Somatic-Mindset Micro-Habit. It's, let me notice myself. Oh, okay, let me breathe better. Let me bring my shoulders down, sit in my cyst bones, hold on. Let me exhale. I'm doing it right now, hold on. That way I can slow myself. Then comes the 5 to 10 minute core Somatic Mindset Micro-Habit practice that we have been discussing. For those who are regulars, for those who are new, you don't know, but the part that I added is also that our homeostasis, or returning to like a complete baseline, going to take about 15 to 20 minutes more. And so it just begins, right, with your somatic awareness and your mental focus. In a circumstance like the earthquake thing, I knew what was going to go down thanks to practice with my panic attacks. In a work environment, you won't necessarily be happy about something, but you'll be able to maintain composure as well as relational, not only integrity, but to be supportive. So what you will find out leaders speak to us about, the attachment trauma educators, is that we need all 3 of our nervous system responses, but we don't need the sympathetic energy when we're having debates and conversations. We don't need the dorsal energy when we're having debates. Okay, so you transform yourself because you have the capacity to say, I know how to be in my nervous system state. And from the state of your ventral vagal, you move to the strategy of the mind, and that's why you're going to work the 2. So in a moment of an earthquake, again, knowing what to look for because I've been given the rules, now I'm comfortable. Don't freak out about it. Don't run out in my underwear. Others don't feel the same way, but they also seem to not take their personal growth, sovereignty, or spiritual ascension seriously. But we have one of 2. The ones who don't take it seriously because I want to, I want life now. It seems like hard work. I'm going to scribble on a wellness board and say that this is bullshit. Okay, so when people get their 3-year-old irritated, that's what there's a bunch of people that's all it is. It's I don't want to have to deal with my nervous system. And don't bring me the trauma attachment information, blah, blah, blah. Then we have another group. That other group is not for us to do anything about because they actually need the therapeutic container, and we don't know how long. So again, Restored Embodiment and Resilience by Alan Fogel, the book. It's good. Okay, so when people are pretending to heal each other, you know they're not. When they have an enemy and therefore they have an other and they're othering and they're treating people like one group is better and the other's not. So that's the part of why they don't, one, have this 5D frequency you've been hearing about, the 5D mystic. It's something I started a long time ago because I heard of Christ consciousness and I was so happy. I'm still happy, but I'm actually also disappointed because Christ talks about forgiveness and turning the other cheek, not casting a stone. And when you see people who continue with the story of Lucifer from the whole spiritual community and monsters, anyone who wants to talk to me about Christ's consciousness, you don't need a code injected in you in order for you to access your ventral vagal state. You see what I'm saying? So with the spiritual bypassing community, as a spiritual one, I'll spot the bypassers a mile away because the minute you don't know how to do the 2 levels of compassion, you're not a spiritual leader yet. You're a groupie of someone. You can continue being a groupie, as that's exactly what happens to those who continue to pat each other. And then they continue to have a good team and a bad team, based on their 10, 20, 30, 40 books, which is what makes them epistemically lazy. Not anything I look at and think, wow, I'm so happy that you don't like reading and learning and you don't enjoy the consilience approach. It's you don't like to use the right side and the left together. That's okay. I understand. It takes your choosing to get out of the sympathetic energy and to be quiet, your curse of knowledge, you're not really a know-it-all 3-year-old. And the 14-month-old that doesn't like me because I like a different cereal, meaning I bring it all in, well, I don't like dead ends because they're boring. And that's what a mind of a person who doesn't know how to access the seed of enlightenment, which basically means their own connected, grounded in a live body. So someone saying, again, your brain falls out of your asshole. No, it doesn't. I have anima mundi. And that just means I bring it all in. Accept all, reject none. Aletheia. The truth is that as Thomas Campbell points out, truth is not fragile, but I beg to differ. It's not huge paradigm shifts that take place. It's like our IHP community building practice, which is what I love. My lovely life partner made it so practical. Micro-habits, all it takes is 2. And you're creating a healthy community. And 2 is not just 2 because you're going to have some people have their lovely children. Others have children around them. We're always going to set an example because we will be the ones who know how to say, you know what? Totally get it. We're different, but different isn't good or bad. So I have a terrible freeze. She's not terrible, but I can get irritated. And so with that, check out the article on Substack and subscribe. We have plans for that one too. You can also check it out on LinkedIn, and the full article with more details and a little graph and all that. So from frustrated to regulated, from excited to regulated, from scared to regulated, why cheap tactics fail and somatic micro-habits work. Cheap tactics involve thinking that it's a one-time stop shop. Personal growth, you're working with your nervous system state, you being a human who's afraid of the unknown. I mean, again, fear, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Any of pure emotions, you're not ashamed. In fact, you wield intensity and sensitivity, and so the depths of you grows stronger because you are curious of your nervous system. Which is why when Peter Levine was talking about how to separate fear from the thought, I was like, yeah, I do that a lot. It's quite distinct. The words have a frequency, fear has another frequency. Oh, yes, there's a way they talk about our senses in addition to our 5 senses. Let me go find that one. It is interoception. So sensing what's happening inside your body, which you can do because you sift sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. The 4 facets of the mind are yours. Okay, so remember, did I mention them? I don't know. Again, let's repeat. Subjective experience, self-organization, information processing, and consciousness. And so yourself, your identity, your belonging, you're all you. Okay, and you do understand sensations, perspective, and agency. Okay, so that's why we differentiate and link, and we get to all be ourselves. And that's the fun part of being authentic. Hold on a minute. Where did you go? Right here. Proprioception, knowing where your body is in space. And so some people, they actually have out of body. While when you're grounded, connected, and present, because you have the capacity to integrate yourself. As you get activated, you integrate. There's no need to be dysregulated so no clinical dissociation, because otherwise the state cannot meet the strategy of somatic mindset micro-habits. Okay, so this is why there's a difference between personal growth, spiritual ascension, leadership, skill building, emotional intelligence, and all that, and those who instead need a therapeutic container. The ones who don't want it, whatever it is, they might end up going to someone who says, I dismantle modern day therapists with one little finger. This is not something we can do about because our lovely experts don't even agree. So we create our healthy micro communities with the micro habits of that which are self-empowered people. You see, every small tubes makes a difference. Join us in building the community practices that will create the future leaders. Because future is never made from the ancients who refuse to notice themselves and who get arrogant, ignorant, and are egoically stubborn. And their 3-year-old is nowhere to be found because we get to meet the stubborn mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? So it don't look good, but you get it. You leave it alone, as lovely therapy nutshell lady points out with a lady that tells us how to handle children, how to handle emotionally immature people. They only want to be loved. But like Patrick Tian points out, they don't want to do the work, meaning they're accountable for their own nervous systems. You can't make someone actually heal trauma. And when someone thinks they can heal the entire trauma of the world and that that's their job, their calling, you're like, wow, that's a big calling, Chicken Little. But hey, I'm rooting for you. However, you can't make everyone go to therapy. I got one person that already told me, found it hard to believe that my first year's life means shit, Maria. And you know what? You're fucked up, or whatever it is that they probably think when I'm always chirpy and having a good time. Vestibular sense, balance, movement, and orientation. So that's 1, 2, 3. So other than our 5, so we got 8 senses going on. How many mystics do we have in a room? Spiritual ones. How do you work with your downloads? I'll never forget when I got a bunch of them. It was like all these images of my past lives. I was like, I'm so happy I'm in this era. It's so nice. The somatic narrative, the secondary verbal narrative, they're all doing good, and the downloads do good, and I'm still sending information to my future self and my actual existing in this moment in time being. I saw her. She's amazing. Yes. Arcturian, Pleiadians, you name it. Yes. Orion, the Belt, and Enoch, and I know all about Metatron, and yes, Sandal, I think it was, is his brother. So I don't remember all these words, but wait for it as I was looking at my list. Okay, when you have cheap tactics, it's not cheap. It's really, people are either faking it or they're doing it. If they're doing it, then they know the difference between an expert, between a person who's supporting with expert information. So I am an expert on being Maria, and then I'm an expert on personal growth. I'm an expert on supporting people who are on a spiritual journey. I'm a person who is loving the online world right now. It allows me to connect with everyone. And then I'm also, did I mention, a marketer who makes fun of those who use those bullshit pitches. So why most leaders' advice drives me crazy, and what conscious leaders do differently. We don't use our presence with articulation. Basically, what drives me crazy is a bunch of things. I just never forget the sales pitches of these people. But I do know, as Simon Sinek points out, people buy what they buy why you do it, not why. They buy why you do it, not what you do, or all that other stuff. So, and it's like, yes, so people buy why you do it. So that means they need to resonate with your story. They need to resonate with your passion. They need to resonate with your calling. Well, my calling is that humanity has amazing potential, but the 9 to 14-month-olds who other the ones they don't like, and the ones who are failing their curse of knowledge as grown-ups, so they're using a 3-year-old. You see what I'm saying? So people, when they buy why you do what you do, they need to believe in the cause. So if your cause is I inspire human potential, well, all humans can be nurtured into their human potential, which a spiritual master, a guru, a sage, an expert yogi, a spiritual one will know is possible. Which is why when I ask someone, so why are they rejecting decentralizing the self and religious experiences? Patrick McNamara's neuroscientific proof that all of us can become whole and there's no demon inside of anyone. Well, Maria, God doesn't need science. No, I know that. I'm just wondering, did you go to the doctors by any chance? Get your hips done, your knees, what's going on? You use science then, huh? And now they don't need science when it proves the perfection. I mean, the kingdom of God, Jesus did mention, is within every one of us. So the inconsistency of those who speak from positions, doesn't matter if they're on a floor or on a pedestal. I'm like, you believed it. No, you can't tell that to someone who's like, there, I'm so sorry. You just have to accept. You're rejected, Maria. Yes, because, bad JoJo, Reiki Master, Akashic Record Reader, Tarot, you're letting bad JoJo in, and we don't want bad JoJo. Oh my God, are we going to get cooties now? Bad JoJo. I just was wondering why they don't accept Adam and Eve, and this person went on, and I'm like, and then they said, and when I got treated the way I did because I saw demonic possession, so sorry. That's called misery wants company. And it's called, wow, I don't care about your why. And I'm not feeling like, oh, I'm so happy someone understands when you get rejected how it feels. I'm actually just wondering how you don't notice the words that come out of your mouth. So when the kingdom of God is within everyone and science proves that it is, and someone proves there's no demons and you're a mystic, you're like, hey, God, I told you so. I told God there were no demons, but that was at my 18 to 20-year-old mark. I was afraid then. I was like, I know the cloak people told me I'm supposed to listen to them and that they're your voice, but they're hurting children physically. It's all the cloak ones. They have anyone who hurts children, they're out They're out. They're not in. Oh, they're not conscious leaders. They're all surrounded with therapists. Ah, there's my manifestation power. That's it. I don't go near them, and they won't go near me. So, with that being said, the noise, the nonsense, and the daily practices that actually build conscious community. Every one of us, as my voice goes away, the leadership absurdities that make me laugh, and how real leaders level up. So the noise is actually something that we all can understand, because again, when you have uncertainty, unknowns, unexpecteds, and unwanteds, and then I don't know where you come from, where you live, Number one, if someone does not autonomously self-regulate, you can't make them, which is why someone's saying, I will heal all the trauma in the world, this is my calling. Your 3-year-old has a beautiful calling. You can't force people to go to therapy. So X, you're wrong. Believe me, again, there's people who follow morons around and they pay them millions. This is who I make fun of, but Jesus, I swear, I don't point them out because I actually don't feel the need to. Because anyone who's authentically themselves not going to fall for shit. I will repeat, anyone who's authentically themselves won't fall for shit. I repeat, please stand up. Slim Shady, please stand up. Anyone who's themselves will not fall for shit. Because the timbre of truth is from the ventral vagal state. So they will hear a frequency, but they will also spot the bias, the charges, the stuff, because they have an ego like I do. I got a 3-year-old, I got opinions, you better bet I do. They're different than yours, that's about it. Other than that, I got plenty of time to keep learning, which is what I love to do best, because the mind loves to learn and the brain loves to participate, and when the anticipator organ, my embodied brain, gets scared with fear, I know how to handle a panic attack. And as for anything physically threatening, we pray the sky doesn't fall and that all the smart ones come together as they already are doing right now, because they will know how to take care of everything, and they will have spotted the same leadership absurdities that I will have. Because seriously, when you see a curse of knowledge and then you see pathologies on a wheelhouse following each other around, playing you're not touching me, you're not touching me. I'm like, wow, Pat Ogden, did you spot the 0-8-year-olds non-metabolized trauma time? I know you don't look at probably people like that, and maybe you're a lot more like Maria, but Pat, they don't want to come to you for somatic anything. They don't want psychotherapy. They don't believe in you. They're not coming. Winter is coming. They're not coming, and I do know about a lot of stories that they're also using. So long story short, please do understand, from frustrated and irritated to regulated. My 3-year-old doesn't like any of those who hurt 3-year-olds. And as my teacher Sue Martin pointed to me in my class, and I can't do it, this is how hard it was for me to actually watch. It was like, oh my God, she did this. She's like, so what does it take? I need to go watch that video again so I can maybe use the exact words. What does it take to suck the life, or was it the happiness out of a child, the energy? I forget. But then she's like slapping her hand and she's doing it really hard. And I'm like this, and I'm like, oh my God, what does it take? That's so sad. That's so sad. Hey, Pat and Sue and everyone. You do know there are those who out there have said, why are you making us heal our trauma? What? Did you just say mate? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to impose my words upon anyone. I don't want to make you do anything, but I thought you would want to honor your first year of life. Didn't want to be scared shitless. Second year, also third. I thought you'd want to honor the infant you were. I did not realize that you don't want to honor the first 3 versions. I don't know, like the first is even more important. So when someone doesn't want to honor themselves, I can't help this feeling deep inside of me. It ain't my job. I'm not here to fix anything. No one's broken. Humanity is doing amazing, and that's because they're always on track. And those who are egoic and they end up in their very inflated egos, well, we know who they are cheering. And that's why you can't actually do anything about it. Plus, Dharma's always recalibrating itself, as a spiritual master mentioned, and I saw cosmic karmic balancing take place. But I didn't need any of the mystic stuff. I know who wins. Hey, God, what's up? Yeah, I know. God wins, and that's about it. So when people take it upon themselves to not be curious of their own mother, securely attached people, welcome aboard, father, they're not God. And someone who says parents are God don't know who God is. And it's like, no, sorry, they're humans. So we're all starborn and we're all children. Yet some people, like Patrick Tan points out, don't do the work. So when you meet the orphans, who are being led by the fake mentors, you're going to know what they do. I'm a healer, and then you chum them. And then they do more than just that. Okay, when on the other hand, you're truly a person who likes to grow and you do enjoy. So the feminine, the body, the masculine, the mind. And with an integrated mind, you are going to be able to move from a physiological state of compassion. So being yourself means that you don't like everyone or everything. You get activated like anybody else, but there's no teams. There's no good and bad teams. There's humans, and what we do with the 8 billion, we can't make everyone become a healthy community again. And when you start with 2, that makes it very doable, which is what I love about the micro habits implemented personal growth in our community building practice. Thank you, my love. Even I don't know if you'll watch this one. So the comedians, what do the comedians do? Well, they stay unseen. They sound like know-it-alls as they play Shadow, Peter Pan, Lost Boys together. The whole ones don't follow them around. We know about the one and the ones, and then there's no one, and twin flames are not why the Matrix got dismantled. There's no Matrix. Scientists figured it out. It's impossible to be living in a simulated reality. The math is out, and I bet you someone who thinks that they're lying is like, you don't believe in me, I know I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm going to go hang out with the ones who know I'm right, like the flat earthers who think the earth is flat. And there's your 3-year-old, oh my gosh, you know everything, you're so right. This reminds me of my cousin Vinny when he doesn't want help from his lovely fiance. Yeah, that's right, you want to win all by yourself at the end. Watch it if you haven't. So the heart is where the home is, and in a cave we do not go unless some people want to return to Plato, and some people, they do feel overwhelmed by that which is the world. I'm not overwhelmed because again, we are a species that has been moving into the future, and when you look at the very bare basics, when you look at your nervous system with curiosity and your embodied brain, and you understand all of the attachment trauma education, that's why people who are trauma informed and who are with their nervous system state in the forefront feel good around people who are authentic. Just today I was answering in a subreddit group people who said, isn't it nice to have, I think they said trauma informed, and I said people who know how to be themselves are able to, thanks to their ventral vagal state, not be afraid of somatic countertransference because they differentiate and link, and they know that we're going to just co-regulate and it's going to be fine. Then they also understand that we think differently because sometimes we have different thoughts, but we also have different ways that our brain will work itself. When we have people stuck in fight, flight, freeze, flop, drop, or attach, cry, collapse, submit, please, appease, they need the therapeutic container. We don't treat them like shit. We allow ourselves to self-regulate, handle it with healthy boundaries, which does not make it a I'm going to get in your face and say I'm a healer, none of that. You're an energy vampire, I need to kick you out. Not any of it. It's now you know how people who don't trust neutrality or true love, they don't trust it because their body feels that when things are going well, something bad has to happen. Their bad omens are consistently nagging at their behind the scenes, and that's an unfortunate business because, you know, the desert isn't fun to go, and when you're a bridge, for those of us who do know, when whether people pray or not, bridges will be brought to them. So again, I work with one-to-one mentorship is always available as a consultant for those of you who do personal growth, spiritual ascension, and yes, your self-sovereignty stuff. So when you get a hold of the free PDF, you will find out more about how you work with it. Join Substack and subscribe. You can ask questions. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it, but there's going to be something that I'm going to set up in my brain with the IHP community building practice and the personal growth, and I might give you some options. I'll decide. But meantime, the prayer of all of us is that people can awaken to the seed of enlightenment within everyone, as Sadhguru mentions. But not everyone might want that because, again, the personal choice is to achieve wholeness. And if someone doesn't want it, there's an explanation, as Stephen Porges points out, to why they're so scared shitless. And so when you do understand the explanation, you don't think, I want revenge on weak people who were treated like shit. You don't think, I want revenge on those who are continuing to create that which is murder and killing and scaring and a bunch more on one globe, who actually are so distorted and disillusioned, and I don't even know where other words to use, I'm just like, yeah, and people say that's how the world goes round. No, luckily we don't go round like that, because those are the same people who are mediocre because they don't think that we, humanity, can excel at being human, which means that their faith in humanity was broken. And so why do I do what I do? Well, my faith in myself and in you and in all has never been broken, because I'm Maria. And whatever you want to do with your embodied brain, it's yours to do, because that's exactly why we have free will. Determined, Robert Sapolsky's book says we have none. I beg to differ, because knowledge empowers people. But if someone says, I found it hard to believe that the first is life, well, that person just refused. And on the last leg, they were, because that life is still in there. But once you get armored shut in and you're in a wheelhouse with the embodied brain. So again, Ransom Stevens, PhD, The Left Brain Speaks, The Right Brain Laughs, a book for you if you're curious. The Master and His Emissary, Ian McGilchrist. That's another good one. And so for those of you who do love to learn about how your embodied brain works, and I just heard their presentations on all of this. The Ransom one I have read, the Ransom Stevens, the beginning. I haven't gotten to more than the first parts, which I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's pretty perfect, left and right. So you love to use that, which is your self-leadership skills, to bring more health in the world. And that's why wellness, not a scribbly board. But some people don't have the capacity yet. The ones who don't want it, they don't own their somatic narrative. They don't even own their secondary narrative, the verbal one. They do own that which is the illusion of the curse of knowledge. And as those who will tell you, complex systems don't have formulas. Each individual has a journey. So even if I see source in everyone, which I do, I know that they're still a human. This is why parents aren't God, no one's God, divinity, no one's it. If you're a piece of the frequency, you will be a pure piece of love, which means that you have healthy fear, you have healthy all other emotions, and you know, therefore, how to be the nervous system state ventral, restored embodiment. That's consistently, when you're activated, you know that that's okay. You don't feel shame for activation. You also don't find it humorous that we still have to see suffering out there in the world and that there's all this shit going down. But you understand, I do, made for the people by the people. That's a political scientist major I am. So when I look out there and I meet the powwows who aren't regulated, they're modulated in their sympathetic energy, continuing to have bad omens and play it on a wheelhouse, I will have spotted the fakos, which are the masses that Schopenhauer talks about. So why they do what they do is that they're still saving each other. They believe in the same thing that they're speaking from their mouth. They need to belong. That's their motivation. And they don't notice that the capacity to stay on all the time is wielded by your very own sense of self, and that's by your own nervous system, and that it's an ongoing one, because today I might wake up in a bad mood. But by being able to work with it and choosing that I have one day, 24 hours is all I got, I'm going to make the best of it. I don't have any physical ailment, nothing going on. Okay, so when you regulate yourself, that's how easy it is to work with yourself. And then when you find out about the whole disease, Gabor Mate is talking about that, and so are all these other people, which is why I understand when they get all excited and they want to do things in a way that I'm like, look, we still need science and doctors and medicine. Because if you haven't noticed, not all of humanity is on board with the somatic mindset, not only micro-habits, but the actual information in itself. Even the ones who know about it actually continue to talk in ways that I'm like, okay, you're afraid of somatic countertransference, and yet you work in the field, and you said you want to help people when you grow up, and you're a professional who is helping people, but you need to be authentically in your ventral energies to help them. So you need to learn how to be in the physiological state of compassion, which is why it's not just words. You need to know how to be an embodied we. That's what authentic people do. And so we understand not everybody enjoys that which is this conversation, because they don't have a steady self-image and they're afraid, and they look outside and they get overwhelmed, and they will then look to someone who can articulate in the sympathetic energy so that they can impose their will upon others, and that's a mannerism. It's just not going to work. That's called rigidity. It's also called grandiosity. It's also called something, a little bit of arrogance, which makes you stupid, which now makes me know you're going to lose because that's how it works. Oh, and it's not a huge paradigm shift. Nope. Micro shifts, micro steps. It's like choice. You know how many choice points I've been seeing and watching, which is why I'm like, one is the loneliest number that you'll ever. 2, you better watch out. 3 strikes. Yeah, by the 5th, pretty much you're a done deal. Yeah. So with that being said, are you curious about what I'm talking about? Probably, maybe, but not for today. When you are a person who doesn't attach your identity, use your name, please. Thank you. That's your identity. You don't attach who you are to that which are circumstances or events or your opinions or any of that. So being grounded in reality and the capacity to work with your personality patterns and your temperament, this is what I'm talking about. So things are not personal because only immature, insecure people continue to take things personally because that's how the sympathetic energy works. I can continue to get activated, but it's not personal. Which means I'm not like, oh my God, you offended me. Okay, just saying. Some people, they don't want to get here. They're like, oh, you have no integrity. You have no morals. How dare you be so flexible? And that's the part of why it's like, what? Are you serious? You don't know how to do the differentiating and linking. You're one of the codependent and meshing type, aren't you? Yeah, I've heard about those, and I've actually been near them, and no, you can't mesh with me. I'm sorry, I don't do that shit. Get out of my space. I was a teenager when I'm like, nope, no, get out now. And then I became a mystic. So I'm just letting you know, while some people are needing the therapeutic containers, others are pretending they don't need it. Others think everyone needs it. And I'm like, you don't know every nervous system out there. And there are intelligent sentient beings. So please, we will take ownership, and relational sovereignty it is. And so my 3-year-old, when she gets in her little 3-year-old hissy fit, I notice it. In fact, we have a theme this year. What are you working on? I'm working on getting from frustrated and irritated and to regulated. That's with my 3-year-old. Yep. I found out there's lunar eclipse. There's a lunar eclipse coming about. So what's your theme? I'm curious. Subscribe to Substack. Let me know what the theme is. Maybe we can talk about these themes. Maybe if enough of you subscribe to Substack and you write enough themes and you want, we'll do a live. That way we can interact with chit chat. I like the lives on YouTube. I can do TikTok too, but I do prefer YouTube, and I'll use my phone. Okay, with that being said, again, real transformation. It happens when we have our state meeting our strategy. So you have a nervous system and a mind. The strategy meets the state. If you get activated, it's okay. We work with it. We know how to embrace it. And that's where we thank the mindful therapists, the good ones who are healing every person in the world who wants to become their real self. As for the other ones, they're not bad because that's not nice. They got the short end of the stick and they got set up to fail. And although some don't like that we forgive, we don't want to carry to next generation those transgenerational baton charges. So when humiliation happens, we have an honest conversation with ourselves, and we know that humiliating is not for grown-ups. Abandonment, no grown-up gets abandoned. We align with ourselves. Betrayal, we belong to the group that doesn't betray, but also we can be considered betrayers all the time. Injustice, we will have integration. We will process that injustice. We will, with flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable brains, as embodied muis, thanks Dr. Dan, know how to look people in the eyes as their doofuses and think, okay, I feel really sad for you, but at the same time, how are we going to fix this? Wait for it. I need to get to what? Rejection. Yes, no, that's not protection. So as we reflect on that which are these lovely 5 core wounds, as humans do, we continue to grow ourselves. So the most dangerous person in your life is the one who makes you feel comfortable with mediocrity. Thank you, Dan Martell. And if your beliefs are not falsifiable, if there's no scenario that could convince you that your most cherished opinions are in error, then that's proof that you did not get them by being in contact with reality. Thank you, Sam Harris. And as Sadhguru points out, a truly intelligent mind is neither influenced by memory nor deluded by imagination. And as I'm going to share with you, you will only own your mind once you've owned your brain. That's the only time that you will then know how to do this thing called, my mind has its own felt sense of being in existence. I went to diet, I went the 3 freaking days. And I'm a little bit sloppy on my diet, but I'm still doing good enough to say, okay, let's step it up. Now we're getting to do exercises. And over here, we're doing the diet the right. So see, not an indulging parent, Maria, talking sense to Maria. And this is why if you're not spiritual, just call it your higher self and your ego. And you're connected and grounded in reality because you're like, hey, I'm alive. I'm alive. And it's not pseudo-aliveness. And so with aliveness, we get to do the one thing that the pseudo-alive ones don't do. Wait for it. We have no mask because we don't have the I need to be unseen and hiding myself. We do not have the shadow stuff. We get to share who we are. So the Somatic-Mindset Micro-Habit practices, they support people who know how to do, I'm going to authentically be me. I'm the one, and here's where we don't debate monoamory, polyamory. We have a heart, and our hearts accept differences, and it's not going to go backwards. So with the spiritual ones, we all do understand God's mysterious ways, the ways to God, the book I'm a co-author of. We all knew there's only one thing that brings us together. It's love. Love is the oxytocin gene hormone, and restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating people are the ones who do the somatic mindset micro-habit practices and are the leaders, not only of the future, as intelligent, sentient beings aren't ignorant. And as those who do know their identity have no reason to fear words that come out of the mouth of people because, again, our 3-year-olds are not afraid of knowledge. They're enlightened and really at awe. I'm always at awe. Any of that which is authentic self and intelligence is awe and breathtaking. So take my breath away. Love anchors in the truth because it is clear of pain. It accepts all and rejects none. Again, Anima Mundi, the truth is simple because complex systems don't have specific little packaged formulas. Those who give you a perfect formula, those are the ones who hang out. We understand how it works. So the living soul of the world in all of its multifaceted, multidimensional layers bonded together by loving cosmic forces. All that is and all that we do know is not. So when you do hear the ones who think about us having to suffer, that's their story. And that's because they can't feel good without the nagging behind their back of something bad happening. It's a sad story, again, pseudo-aliveness and dysregulation, but it's not a story that is closed. Spiritual masters, gurus, enlightened ones know everyone, every human, will be the potential they want to be. So we nurture each other. IHP community building practices. Check out the 6 phases. Check out PayHip for the free PDFs, for the one-day guide, for more guides and journal prompts. Check out the guides. There's 3 guides. And FYI, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for being yourself the smart way, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable, and supporting others to be seen, soothed, safe, secure, to be themselves, and actually even the ones who don't like that we are welcoming of all because they think we let bad Jojo and Juju in because they don't believe in the goodness of every one of our brothers and sisters and their potential to rise above. They also don't believe in science and how it explains what the impact of the embodied brain is. Like the corpus callosum gets impeded in its growth, the amygdala, the hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex, I forget all of the words now, but there's 4 areas. So when you do understand science is a fact, thank you, Neil deGrasse, you don't play pretend. And that's why God is perfect after all. So again, humans in flesh are not. And the ones who think that consciousness wants to experience suffering, I'm still trying to let that one go. How does that sound? So meantime, though, again, we don't have the possibility to impose on anyone to heal their own trauma, and let's not hold trauma against people because that will mean that they have an area and an opportunity of growth. And by being a healthy person with a person who's healthy, it means you're self-sovereign, again, self-relational, nervous system sovereign. You will co-regulate in that environment, and you will have a composed ventral vagal state, and a composed ventral vagal node is always scarier because, again, they didn't get that. So what they're now going to be faced with, the ones who don't want to understand what I'm speaking about, that's not you, that's the ones who don't believe in the science, is that they will, you know, Mulan, have you seen Mulan? Remember when the emperor looks at the whatever that guy and he says, "Mountain does not bow down to the wind." Essentially, your sense of self, when it's differentiated and it's a 3-year-old, but it's a grown up in a prefrontal, it's very fascinating. And on the other end, imagine Ursula's Cauldron, the cartoon with the seaweed. It's not funny, self-loathing, gut wrench, torn apart. It's not funny to have family in the head. It's not funny to not be your best friend. You're not your best friend, but you know what I mean? To have your own back. So securely attached people, we have our own back. We love ourselves first. It's not a confusing sentence. It's not a letdown. It's, yeah, I am worthy of breathing. Oh, look, I'm worthy of water. Did you think you know who's worthy? Huh? Wow, you are not God. You know that, right? I'm not going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger. Don't worry. Excuse me. Did you think you know what love is? I'm showing people what love is right now. It's forever growing, forever young. Anyone want into the unknown? That's how it works when you're infinity and beyond. Consciousness, intelligence. Come on, people. So, anyways, everyone is motivated differently. I was told 3D, 4D would stick around, so I'm trying to also have you be humored. But in the meantime, let us remember to unconditionally love and to treat each other with respect, and to know that we're gonna, as always, our species, slowly but steadily, slow but steady wins the race all the time. And really, what's the goal? Is there something we're trying to achieve? I didn't realize, are you objectifying my life? Did you just create an object out of life? Excuse me. I think you don't know what the longing thing is. So fulfillment, when you're fulfilled with your human secondary consciousness, you don't need a reason. The 3-year-olds always want to be heroes. Just for one day, hero complex, savior complex. See what I'm saying? Great, awesome. So let's be heroes together, and we'll spread the lovely 2s becomes 3s or 4s or 5s. The IHP community building practice. Please check it out. It's so exciting. Yay, we get to bring our personal growth to our community and make more healthy people. Woohoo! And that's going to be fun. So no enmeshing, no codependence. It's all about love, and it's independently with the capacity to differentiate, link. So no one's afraid of somatic countertransference, no cooties, no energy vampires. You got to drill. Okay, have a good one.